since the declaration of the results of the presidential election, the Independent National Electoral Commission has not made any comment on the issue of a rerun election or a second election. This is because the Commission has announced a winner for the presidential election. Some other political parties and their candidates that contested the election felt aggrieved at the outcome of the election, and they have exercised their right under Section 285 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and approached the Presidential Election Court, which is as the Court of Appeal, in accordance with Section 239 of the Constitution. This is because under Section 239 of the Constitution, the Court of Appeal serves as the court of first instance in presidential election petitions. In other words, it has original and exclusive jurisdiction to determine whether somebody has been validly elected as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal is still sitting because still under Section 285 of the Constitution, it has 180 days to conclude its sitting and deliver judgment. Now, after delivering judgment, if any of the political parties is still not satisfied, it has a period of 21 days within which to appeal to the Supreme Court for adjudication. And the Supreme Court has a total of 60 days within which to hear the petition and deliver its judgment. Now, within this particular period, the candidate who has been removed, so to say, still remains in office until the determination of the appeal. So, if there are two scenarios here. If the Court of Appeal, sitting as the Presidential Election Tribunal or a Presidential Election Court, nullifies an election, the Commission will have a total of 90 days within which to conduct a by-election. And 90 days is a sufficient period for the Commission to prepare. As of today, there is no indication whatsoever that the Commission is preparing for any rerun because the court is still sitting. And we cannot begin to prepare for an election when the court has not finished its sitting and given its judgment. Now, there's also a second scenario under Section 136 of the Constitution of the Electoral Act. If the court determines that the candidate returned as having been elected was not qualified ab initio to contest the election, the court will declare the candidate that scored the second highest number of votes and who missed the constitutional and geographical threshold as having been elected. So we cannot prepare and preempt what the Court of Appeal will do. So as of today, the Commission is not preparing for any by-election or any run election arising from the presidential election petition that is before the Court of Appeal because the Court of Appeal is still sitting. And we cannot preempt what the Court of Appeal will do. Nobody can, as of today, emphatically say that he or she knows what the outcome will be. This is because the lawyers in the petition have been given a period within which to file their written addresses, and they are preparing their written addresses. Thereafter, they will adopt their written addresses, and then the court will retire or retreat to write its judgment. And then thereafter, if anybody is aggrieved, the person will also go to the Supreme Court. So I think it will be out of place for anybody to suggest that he or she is preparing for a presidential runoff, a presidential rerun, or even a by-election. But let me just say this. I think that there has been some confusion relating to what the Commission said before the conduct of the 2023 presidential election. If you look at Section 134, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it makes it very clear that for you to be declared as having been elected the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, one, you must score the highest number of votes cast in the election. Secondly, you must also score a quarter of the votes in 2/3 of all the states of the Federation, thereby getting what we call the requisite threshold. Now, in default of a candidate securing that, the Constitution says that the Commission shall conduct a second election in which only 2 candidates will be on the ballot. The candidate that scored the highest number of votes and the candidate that scored the highest number of votes in the highest number of states. In other words, the candidate that got the geographical spread. The Constitution says that that election will take place within a period of 21 days after the declaration. And if you remember, the Commission fixed the presidential election for the 25th of February, 2023, and also fixed the governorship election and state assembly elections for the 11th day of March 2023. What that means is that if no candidate emerges, the period within which the Commission will prepare for this second election will be very short, 21 days. So what we did was to also prepare for what we call a presidential runoff, and also prepare for a possible 3 to 4 governorship runoffs. And that was what we did. That has not happened, and that is spent, is past. So nobody is preparing for any possible rerun election or any possible by-election as of today in relation to the presidential election. So I think that it's just empty speculation, and the Commission is not preparing for any election as of today because we cannot preempt the Court of Appeal. I think it's creating a problem because there are so many of our people who do not understand the electoral process, who do not understand the constitutional issues, who do not understand the legal issues involved. So if you prepare their minds towards something that is false, something that is not real, when it does not happen, you begin to create a scenario where the institutions of government that have been charged with delivering and managing the electoral process will be delegitimized. And I think that is not right. I think that Nigerians are entitled to and are deserving of factual information, credible information that will elevate our electoral process, and not the type of fake information that will delegitimize our democratic institutions.